Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 9 of 12 Days of Sandy. Today we're going to be setting up my 2023 bullet journal. I am really excited. This is one of my favorite spreads that I have ever made, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so the first spread that we are starting with for this 2023 setup is my calendar for the entire year of 2023. The way that I did this is that I used 4 pages, and on the right hand side, the second page, I cut the side of it and cut a tab and then cut off the top. That way it created a little like leaflet book thing inside so that I can flip back and forth and see each month. So what I do is I write 3 months on each page. So there's 4 pages, 3 months on each page, that's 12 months. And I really like this way to set it up because I find that it gives me enough space for each month that I can write down any birthdays or anniversaries or any events that I know are happening in the future. And then it also is just really handy that if I want to flip back to it later in the year to look at my entire year calendar, it's just right there and it's super handy and easy to see and it doesn't feel crammed. I found that when I try and do a year calendar on 1 page or on 2 pages even, it feels too crammed for me. So I really enjoy doing it like this. So the theme that I'm going for the 2023 setup is this kind of light floral theme. I used a lot of pinks and purples, and then you'll see later I add a few greens as well as some grays and blues just to kind of balance those warm and cool tones. I really like how these flowers turned out because they're really fun to do and they're really easy because they're a little bit scribbly, and so they don't have to look super realistic, which is good because I'm not the best at drawing realistic flowers, and so that's why I kind of went with this more scribbly look, and I really like how stylized it is.
She went away on Christmas Day, didn't come back till New Year. He thought everything had changed, but it was all in his head, a sad invention. As soon as I mentioned the boy girl do their own thing, no lonely heart. So go on in, there's wood on the fire.
The font that I decided to go for this setup was kind of a bubbly-ish type font. I thought that it would be fun and that it would match the vibe of the scribbly flowers, and I think it turned out really cute, and I like the intense block of color that it gives there at the top. I'm just going in with a white gel pen to add some highlights on the lettering and some of the flowers. And then, as you can see there, I just laid down a paper behind the tab so I don't get the rest of my spread dirty, and I colored the tab blue so that it would stand out against all of the pink and it would be easy to flip back and forth. So my next 2 spreads are all about my goals for the year. So the way that I like to set these up is having the goals on 1 page and then a goal breakdown on the page next to it. So on my left-hand side, that's where I put my actual goals. I have a section for my word of the year, my personal goals, and my health goals. And then on the right side, I made 2 large boxes to write down a goal breakdown for my personal and health goals. So that way, my goal is to work out 5 times a week. So if my goal is to work out 5 times a week, then on the right-hand side of the page, I would write down, I'm going to work out at this time of the day, or I'm going to try these specific types of exercises, or I'm going to log them in a spread in my bullet journal, or something like that. That way I can write down a measurable way to attain that goal, and it's easy to look back when I do my goal check-ins throughout the year and see, okay, I wanted to do this and this and this to achieve this goal. Have I done those things? Do I need to modify them? Where am I at? And how can I move forward? I haven't quite landed on a word of the year yet. I am kind of leaning towards gather, but I'm not sure if that's exactly what I'm going for. I like to be really intentional with my word of the year because I think that it really sets a tone for the year and it's really helpful. My word of the year last year was flourish, and I think that was pretty accurate for how my year went. And so I'm glad that I picked that for my word of the year. So I want to do the same thing this year and be very intentional with what I choose. If you have any good suggestions, let me know.
She went away on Christmas Day, but he already knew this was coming. But still he made mistakes. Instead of just making friends, he went on benders.
Okay, so for my next spread, this is going to be about my YouTube goals. Now, if you don't have a YouTube channel yourself, this might not be the one to recreate, but you could still apply it to any other type of specific goal that you are trying to reach, or a specific genre of thing, I guess. So for me, it's YouTube. So what I'm doing is on the left-hand side of the page, I have a space to write down my number of subscribers, my number of videos, and my number of watch hours at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. That way I can really easily and quickly compare where my numbers are at. Now, numbers don't mean everything, but they can be a good indication of your growth and how well your things are performing. So I do like to have those for various analytics. And then I also wrote a section just to brain dump any YouTube ideas that I have. That way, if I am trying to come up with something for a month, I can flip back to this spread and say, oh, I had an idea for this and this. Maybe I can do this video. If there are any specific videos that you would like to see from me, please let me know in the comments down below and I can add them to this list and then hopefully I can get to them and it'll be so much fun. Then on the right-hand side of the page, I'm making kind of these bar trackers for my number of subscribers and my number of watch hours. So my goal for 2023 is to get to 250 subscribers and 250 watch hours. So what I'm doing is I just split those up by spaces of 15. And as I reach those various milestones, I will fill it in with one of the colors that I used in this spread. That way I can track where I'm at. And then hopefully by the end of the year or before, this will be entirely filled out. Again, just going in with that white gel pen to add some highlights. These next two spreads are about books. I love reading. If you've been around on my channel at all, you know that and you know how much I like to read. And so what I wanted to do for 2023 is set a reading goal of 60 books. This year my reading goal is 20 books, and so far I think I've read 35, I'm pretty sure. So I think that 60 can be a reasonable goal for me, especially because I've gotten a lot more into reading as the year has gone on. And so what I'm doing to set this up is I made a square for every single book and labeled them 1 through 60. And then as I read, I will just highlight around the edge of the box, and that way it indicates that I've read that number of books. I did this at my New Year bullet journal setup earlier in the year, and I really like how it turned out, and I really loved how it looked as I was using it, and at the end to see, how many books I was completing and how I was completing those. So I decorated this with the same florals that I've been using this entire time. I decided to just do kind of a line of florals at the top and a line of florals at the bottom rather than filling out the entire background. That way it just was a little bit cleaner because there are so many small elements to this spread. I didn't want it to look too messy in the background.
Boy, girl, do their own thing, no lonely heart. So go on in, there's wood
Okay, flipping to my next and final spread of this setup. This is where I will write down what books I read specifically. So I am just decorating around the edges with those same florals that I have been using this entire time. And then I made a large box that will be where I can write down which specific book I've read. And the way that I did this, as you can see, is highlighting every other row. This will break it up so that I can write down the books on each row, but instead of using the black pen, I use the highlighter so that it doesn't look super bogged down, and so that once I fill it out, it's not super full and super messy looking. And then at the bottom, I have a box for the number of pages read in the year and a place to write down if I discover any new favorite authors. And then I'm just going in with that white gel pen to add a few highlights as I've been throughout this setup. So that is all of the pages in this 2023 setup. I really like how these turned out, and I'm so excited to start using them. I think that this light floral theme is very inviting. I really like how it turned out. Sometimes my colors don't translate as well as I like them to, but this spread really worked for me, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm really excited to start using all of these. All supplies that I used will be linked in the description box below if you are interested in checking any of them out. Okay, so that was it. I hope that you liked this setup. I know I did. Let me know what type of spreads you're going to include in your 2023 bullet journal setup, and like this video if you liked it, and subscribe so that you don't miss any more of the 12 Days of Sandy, and make sure to check out the description box to watch any of the previous ones if you've missed them. I hope that you have a great day. Bye!
She went away